when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And soon the broken-hearted people living in the world will see they can be the answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they be free. They will have an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There awaits their answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until forever, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comforts me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Begin now by gently closing your eyes. You closing your eyes automatically and effortlessly connects you to your inner breath. Your inner breath flowing naturally at its own pace. Allowing yourself to relax into it. Tuning out your external, withdrawing yourself and opening up into your unique inner calm world. A sanctuary of endless natural peace. Breathe in the divine oxygen of God present in your inner sanctuary. Breathing in and breathing out. Stay present with yourself as you breathe in your soul's nature. Your soul's nature is present in your center, your heart. Staying present with your soft, steady breaths naturally flowing. Now allow each of your breath to purify your heart, the core of your being. With each exhalation, feel your core letting go all that is not you. All that is not of the divine. Making you feel lighter and grounded purely in your unique core's essence. Living in your core essence will always feel restful and gives you ease. Your internal happiness is God's joy being expressed. Joyously embrace your inner God, your inner divinity tightly now, warming your heart with your love for it. Giving yourself permission to be restful in your commitment to your soul's nature. Tapping back into your soul's cool sanctuary. Breathe in this divine oxygen, rebalancing your being to your soul's own natural rhythms and waves. You are free to breathe as you. Allow yourself to feel relief in being yourself as you are. Surrender now to God's affection for you. Nourishing you fully, letting go of all heartaches and restrictions. Feeling relief in God, feeling relief in the God in you. That He is more than enough to fulfill your heart's wishes and dreams. surrendering all of your control and putting your trust in Him like a child. You may now gently open your eyes.
Hi everyone, I'm Jose.
And I am Michaela.
And we are Twin Flames in Harmonious Union, students of JF and Shaleia. And today we are doing the card reading for the Sunday service. We are using the Work Your Light Oracle. So let's get started.
Yes.
So the first card is Protection. Let's see it here. Okay.
And it says, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. Well, I think that's interesting because this week's sermon is about addiction. Yeah, and so this is about like claiming power over your reality and realizing that you have the power to change it. And like, doesn't matter what situation you might be in or what like challenge you're facing. This card's just like a reminder that like you do have the power, and it's God's power, and that like everything is okay. Like there's nothing you can't overcome. Like you're protected.
Yeah, and you can cut the cords in that addiction that you're experiencing, in that challenge. You know, you can overcome it. You are safe. You are protected when you do that. It's not like you are like, it's a vulnerable time when you are feeling something like that. But you can give yourself that space, that like, you know, that love that you need in that moment. Be compassionate with you as you heal it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good. So the next card is perfect. Trust your path. Hold it more like straight. Yeah. Trust your path. That's very nice. And it says, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Yeah, this one's just about remembering that no matter what you're going through, like you can just like trust that God has you in the palm of his hand, and that your path is perfect. And there's like a Course in Miracles quote where he says, like, if you knew that everything that you've experienced or ever will experience was like planned by God, like what would you fear, or something like that? Something like that.
Like everything is for your good.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be afraid of. Something like that.
Like God's in charge of your journey, so you can just trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is also about like taking the first step. That is, you know, the most difficult one. When you don't know where to go, or it's like, should we do it? Not yet. To take it and know that you will be supported, and it's like God will take you, but you need to take the first step. You need to set the intention there.
Yeah.
And everything will fall into place.
Yeah. It's like taking a leap of faith, you know, in a direction, like a new direction after making a new choice. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, both cards are just about knowing that you're protected and you're supported in healing whatever you're healing, going through any challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last card.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
The last card is boundaries.
Boundaries. And it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like all the hands in the card are like, you know, saying no to that thing.
Saying no to ego.
Exactly. Like,
that's what the card's about. Yeah. Setting boundaries against that voice in your head that like tells you can't do it, or like this one's too much for you, like you can't heal this.
You should come back to this.
Yeah. Yeah, like
it will be better.
You're powerless, like all of those things. You can really set up boundaries against that voice. Like you have the power. You're the divine child of God, and yeah, like there's nothing to fear, no matter what.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Good. Well, that feels very nice. Yeah, the cards are all about like basically claiming your power and just knowing you're safe, supported, protected, and a powerful being. So it's very fitting for this service. Perfect. Well, we hope you enjoyed our reading, and we are looking forward to the rest of the service, and we hope you guys enjoy it, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Jason, and this is Chrissy, and we are Twin Flames in Harmonious Union. and we are going to speak to you today about the upcoming sermon from Jeff and Shaleia about addiction.
Yeah, this was a very intimate sermon for me. I was emotional through the majority of it as we watched it and experienced it. And I think mainly because we work with a lot of people who are holding on to addictions in MAP. I'm the CEO of MAP, the Mind Alignment Process, and Jason's the Director of Training at MAP, and we are both acting practitioners. And so we support people who are moving through addiction that's related to trauma, which is something that Jeff talks about in the sermon today. And I just was very emotional because I have so much compassion for those who are still moving through this, because I moved through it, and I was addicted to alcohol. I self-medicated with alcohol for a very long time to handle my symptoms from trauma. And I'm just incredibly grateful for this body of work and what Jeff and Shaleia have brought to us, and this lesson that they have gifted us today.
Yeah, I was, I've been a chef for my whole professional life, and I smoked cigarettes, drank. I've seen tons of chefs really abuse drugs and alcohol to the nth degree. Smoking cigarettes for me was a way to get a break from, throughout the workday. It's very long hours, and it's very stressful. So it was a stress reliever and kind of an excuse, I guess, to take a break, because if you're not doing something, then you're like, literally not doing anything. So smoking is like actually doing something, and you get a break. That's in the culinary world.
It's in the military world too, very common.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, smoke breaks.
So it's these are things that we're very familiar with, and we're also familiar with helping people heal that in their lives as well.
Yeah, I really loved that part. What was your favorite part of the sermon today?
I think it was like when Shaleia had mentioned, to just be compassionate with yourself and not judge yourself as you're, handling or dealing with this type of thing. Like, maybe you don't know the solution yet, or maybe you even do know the solution, but like, you're not there. You're not like emotionally capable of getting there yet, and that's okay, as like you're working through it and getting to a place where you can and you can leave that addiction behind.
I love that, and that's something you're really good at in supporting our clients in MAP with. You're very patient. I really appreciate that about you. And my favorite part of the sermon. I think, was, something that collectively was communicated through the whole thing. And it's really Jeff and Shaleia's, the truth that they bring here about addiction and the way out. And getting really clear on the purpose of, why you're reaching for that cigarette, why you're reaching for that glass of wine, or alcoholic beverage, or whatever. They talked a little bit about opioids and like why you're reaching for those things, and the level of comfort that you feel it's bringing to you, and truly identifying the root in the core of addiction and providing an invitation to manifest a new reality for yourself, and really honoring that you have the power to create in your reality, and absolutely no one else has the power to create in your reality. That was really like an incredibly touching moment for me, because I choose that for myself, and I just absolutely, I loved it. This is just an intimate and beautiful, beautiful sermon.
Yeah, it's a great lesson on leaving those things that aren't good for you any longer behind. And moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you just talked about that, like letting go of relationships, Shaleia mentioned this was just such a pivotal moment where she mentioned some people are addicted to relationships, and that really resonated with me. And I thought of their meditation CD that I listen to daily that talks about letting go of those relationships that no longer serve you, choosing only relationships that support your highest good. And I just had that running through my mind as I was listening to her. It was absolutely beautiful. And so with that, it is an absolute honor today for us to introduce to you our beloved gurus, Jeff and Shaleia Divine.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
I'm Shaleia. Welcome back to another wonderful Church of Union Sunday service. Please join us in our 3 opening ohms and our opening prayer. So taking a nice deep breath in, please join us mentally or out loud. Please join us for our opening prayer.
I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen.
Today we're going to be talking about addiction. What is addiction? How can I heal it? How can I live with it? And what's its purpose and what's it for? So first, let's begin by defining addiction. I like to get into the root of things and go all the way to the core, because if you trim branches, if you move branches around, it's always a temporary thing.
Yeah.
But if you go to the root of whatever the issue is, then you have real power to change it, to understand it, to resolve it, to heal it, to grow the divine in it. So, Shaleia, you always had a good story from one of your previous roommates.
Right. I remember a long time ago, years ago, I lived with a veteran, and he was an former alcoholic. He, been years since he had a drink, and he said to me, I thought it was really interesting that, what like addiction really is. In this case, it was with alcohol. It was like, well, why do I need the drink? It's about questioning, like, what's it for? Like, why do you need to have a drink right now? And
What is the purpose?
What is the purpose of it? And that always stuck with me of like, wow, like that really does like get to the root of like, because like you could have like alcohol every day of your life and not be an alcoholic, or you could.
So an addiction is where you are dependent upon something to give you something else. And I guess you could define God as that, because you're dependent upon God.
Right.
But usually it's an activity or a substance or
something outside of you, something that you have replaced God with.
And so you could be addicted to exercise or sex or
work.
Obviously drugs and alcohol, or you could be addicted to music. You could be addicted to anything. And it's not the thing that you're addicted to that's the problem. It's your relationship with the thing that's the problem.
Right.
Like heroin or opioids are not an inherently problematic substance. It's your relationship to them that can be healthy or unhealthy.
Right. Like if you're missing half an arm in an accident, you really want opioids in that moment.
Yep.
It's the most compassionate thing to help you deal with like a missing limb.
right? Or something, there's some egregious pain going on.
Some egregious pain.
Then you want an opioid or something of the like to help numb the pain so you don't have to feel it.
Right, and to also help prevent you from going into complete shock, psychological shock.
So the reason that you use it is important. If you're using an opioid repeatedly to deal with the pain that's persistent, maybe you want to look at that pain and find out why it's there.
Usually emotional.
A Course in Miracles talks about all healing is done on a psychological level.
All healing is psychotherapy or something. Yeah, it's all in the mind.
So whenever you need to heal something in your body, the root is in the mind, and you can go in the mind and resolve it. And then this is what our work teaches. Whatever you're experiencing in your reality, in your life, in the external, is a result of what is sitting inside your mind. Your mind is your creative source, meaning whatever you place in your mind, it's a garden, it will grow. And if there's something that's causing pain in your mind, we invite you to go to the root of it and heal it. And let's talk about how to do that. We do have a mind alignment process if you have serious trauma, MAP. You can go to mindalignmentprocess.org and check it out, and there's free consultations. But if it's for something that you want to try to heal yourself without any support, you would just go to the root of the problem, and your addiction can take you there. Well, why am I using, this thing? What is the purpose of me exercising, 4 hours a day? Am I a bodybuilder? Or, am I an Olympic athlete? Or, do I have some sort of job that requires that level of fitness? Or am I trying to achieve something
because I don't feel good enough?
Because I don't feel good enough, right? Or am I using this substance repeatedly because, it brings me joy and pleasure? Or am I using it to bring me joy and pleasure to cover up the fact that I'm really hurt?
Or I smoke cigarettes because I find it calms me down.
Do I live too stressful a life?
Right.
Am I dependent upon this unhealthy thing? Like you can go for a 30-minute or an hour-long run every day and get some healthy exercise. You know what's healthy and unhealthy. And so now we're talking about an unhealthy relationship with something, your addiction. And the solution to an addiction is to heal the relationship you have with that substance. And sometimes it means ending the relationship with that activity or substance. And sometimes it means changing the relationship you have with that activity or substance. Addiction stems from looking for something outside of yourself.
Right.
And that's why in Alcoholics Anonymous they use God.
They do. I was going to say that, in my experience through life, what I noticed the number one addiction pattern for people is actually relationships. They're addicted to a relationship or being in a relationship. And it makes you so unhappy.
This doesn't mean don't be in relationships.
That's not what I'm saying, but it comes from that same thing, right? Of
because someone is giving you something that you think you need that's outside of you,
right?
And you give up a lot to have that. And everyone with an addiction knows you're giving up something to have that. And the way that you heal an addiction is recognizing that the thing that your addiction brings you is not what you need at all.
Right.
You're not dependent on what the addiction gives you.
It doesn't have power over you. You have power.
You have the power, and you have the power to give to yourself what you actually need rather than what you think you need. You think you need to numb out to the pain, but really you need to go to the source of the pain and say, why is this happening? You need to look at it and find out what it's telling you and resolve the problem. And whether it's Western medicine or Eastern medicine or, mind alignment process or, some of the work that I teach, use the resources and tools available to you. Don't deny a modality of healing that holds merit and that can help you. So let's talk about how addiction starts. Addiction starts usually gently or sometimes after a great trauma to try to bring you comfort when you're feeling not so good. And that comfort, you think you found a friend in that addiction. But You don't need to go without comfort to let go of your addiction. You don't need to abuse yourself to overcome an addiction. You don't need to have an enormous amount of willpower to overcome an addiction. You don't need to experience pain or suffering. And the reason that you're still doing the thing is because it brings you some sort of comfort and relief.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point you to true and complete comfort and relief in a healthy way. And that does exist. Rather than pointing you to the thing that's bringing you temporary comfort or relief, but comes at a great cost. And you know if something that you're doing is an addiction. You know something is costing you something that's not worth it. And it's because you feel beholden to that thing. You feel like it owns you. You feel like, you have to, and that there's no other way. But we're here to tell you there's a better way. And that way is God. And that doesn't mean come to church and praise Jesus. Maybe that works for some people. But I'm talking about a very real relationship with God, your creator. And that relationship is what's going to bring you the relief you seek.
Yeah.
And it's a very real thing. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about addiction to cigarettes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe you have cigarettes. It's a long day. You get in your car, you light up a cigarette. And you know that moment if you're a smoker where you finally light up the cigarette and you relax and you can just let go of the stresses of life. And in that moment when you're smoking, you feel great. And you're like, anyone who wants to take this away from me, no thanks. But you know that over a long period of time, this is very unhealthy for you. Maybe you're more prone to coughing, or tar is building up in your lungs.
Cancer. Mm-hmm.
Cancer, you're higher risk for cancer. And maybe you're one of the lucky ones who never gets it. But you do suffer from decreased health robustness from smoking.
There's a cost to smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
And long-term smoking and habitual smoking is not worth it. And I'm not talking about you have a cigar at your friend's bridal shower,
right.
or
the odd smoke of a cigarette or the cigar, the occasional, it's not gonna do anything for you, it's
not gonna hurt you.
But this is once again the same thing of
why?
Yeah, why are you doing it? Why do you need that cigarette right now?
So if you want to quit smoking, first you need to recognize, even though this might feel really good to me to have that cigarette right after work, or I just got in a fight, or I just had sex and I want to have a cigarette afterward, or I'm having a beer and I like a cigarette with it. Maybe you're enjoying these things, fine, but you also have to recognize that there's a negative, unhealthy negative consequence for being in that relationship. It's ultimately an unhealthy relationship because you're paying with your health for it. Mm-hmm. Your teeth, they get dark, your breath smell, you kind of stink. Sorry, no offense.
Right. And with relationships, you're paying your happiness. The cost is you lose your happiness.
And yourself.
Mm-hmm. You lose who you are, who you think you are.
So first you need to recognize that it's unhealthy, right, in order to overcome an addiction. And that's it. All you're doing, the first step, is acknowledging, hey, this isn't healthy. I'm losing something. There's a bad deal here. I really like what it gives me, but I don't like what it takes from me. Now this is different from working on a project. I don't like that I have to put effort in, but I really like the end result. Well, maybe you want to do work that is satisfying for you. And hey, you could be addicted to a bad job in the same way. Look at your relationships and determine if it's going somewhere. What's the long-term result here? With smoking, it's very clear. The research is in. It's unhealthy for you. And so first you recognize it's unhealthy. And the second thing, you must see, and you must tell yourself, you must ask yourself, there must be a better way than this. There must be a healthy way for me to get what I'm looking for, or at least a healthier way, right? So you can go from smoking to, I think they do vaping. Now you can vape tobacco to still get a similar experience.
Well, I think there's still research being done on that, whether that's very healthy and
Well,
stuff.
it's
but,
a little bit less unhealthy.
well,
right?
maybe we don't know all the research right now, but like another alternative is like like a herbal mix with, which is like,
You're not getting nicotine. Just hear me out here. Just hear me out here.
Okay.
Just hear me out here.
Okay.
For example, the next step might be vaping.
Okay.
Or, and you want to go from vaping to the nicotine gum or a patch or something. And then maybe, that plus an herbal smoke. Or
Right.
You work your way away from the addiction.
Right. Like quitting cold turkey may not always be the most compassionate approach.
Or you smoke a pack a day and you want to go down, you just take one cigarette from your pack when you start it and you throw it away. Or you put it in an extra pack and you get a free pack after, 20 packs. And then if you can do that, then you smoke half of one and put that away. So you're smoking 18 and a half cigarettes a day and slowly wean yourself away. And while you're doing that, you need to replace it with something because there's a reason that you're doing it. You're not a stupid person. And this is another important piece, is recognizing you ain't dumb. You're doing it for a reason and it benefits you. You're a smart person. You wouldn't do it if you didn't get something from it. Okay? So you can pat yourself on the back, really, and say, I'm not dumb for smoking. I'm not a bad person. I'm not an idiot for having this addiction. I know I'm getting something that I really like, and I just need to find a healthier way to get it. Mm-hmm. And one part is getting away from the unhealthy thing. But the other part of this is getting toward a healthy thing. Identifying, why am I so stressed out in my life? Is it relationships that are off? Is it my work and career that's off? What am I doing in my life that it doesn't feel good? Or what is the trauma that I experienced in my past that I'm reliving in my present right now that needs to be healed? Mm-hmm. What is a better way to get that thing? So maybe, you've got a really crappy job and you think you need the paycheck and you spend it all on cigarettes. Well, maybe find your life purpose. And that's the ultimate solution, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Why not give that ultimate solution a try? No shame in moonlighting, and then that crappy job that gives you that crappy paycheck that you're dependent upon can be the fuel for your purpose. And now you're paying for life purpose class and you're getting coaching from a certified ascension coach, and they're helping you to live your purpose, discover and live your life purpose. And now that crappy job immediately has meaning. Mm-hmm. And you do a great job there and you earn that money because that is what's funding your purpose. Or maybe you have a really stressful relationship with your boss. Well, try to heal that relationship. Work on healing that relationship with your boss. And once you've done everything that you needed to do to heal it, either your boss is going to harmonize with you or you're going to harmonize with a new boss. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's because you're in the wrong romantic relationship. You need to take honest stock of your life. And I can't do it for you, and I can't give you every example, but where in your life that there's something wrong. And the first thing that you might be tempted to do is when you recognize, well, it's this way, but I can't do anything about it. Well, you're wrong about that. You are empowered to make a change. Well, it's my society, it's the government, it's people, it's this group of people or that's making me unable to create this in my life. But none of that's true. Because let me give you some spiritual truth. This is spiritual law. You ready? Only you have the power to create in your reality. Mm-hmm. Let me give you another spiritual law equally as powerful. No one else has the power to create in your reality. Mm-hmm. You do not have the power to create in the reality of another.
And they may offer to create in your reality, but you have the power to agree to it or not. Mm-hmm. Very simple.
So, your life and your reality, and this is often very hard for people to accept, mm-hmm. but it's the most empowering thing we can give to you. Your life and your reality is a direct result of what's going on inside of your mind because you're attracting that life.
Right.
And so, in order for you to attract a perfect life, you must have a perfect mind. And that's why the unionist prayer says, what's the end? I say, purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. Mm-hmm. And this is why my mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. Like, He created the perfect reality for you. And all that you need to do is release from yourself and from your mind that which is not what God gave you in the first place when he breathed life into your being. And you know it's not what God gave you if it feels bad in any way, if it's logically imperfect in any way. And you've got to see it through the eyes of God and his logic. And so you know if there's something off, and then you just heal it. And you can use the mirror exercise and the tools that are given through our teaching at the heart of this church to heal your consciousness and purify it into perfect union with God. So first step is to recognize, that your addiction is giving you something that you like and you're not stupid. And the second step is to recognize it's giving you something that you don't like and that there's a better way.
And I think if I could add in another step is don't judge yourself. Like, have compassion for yourself. Sure. Like, man, you're hurting. And this is the only solution that you could have, come up with. So far, with where you're at. And maybe you've already been aware of a better solution, but you haven't been emotionally or psychologically ready to go there. Don't judge yourself. Just have compassion for yourself. Man, it's been hard.
So ask God for the strength to start taking steps to overcome your addiction. It's not I'm a bad person because of my addiction, and after I change it, I'll be a good person. It's a journey that must be taken, the healing of addiction. And when it's genuinely healed, you're not going to feel tempted to go back because you have something better. I am in no way tempted to go back to being with a soulmate. I have something way better.
Yeah.
There's nothing,
There's nothing there.
I'm in no way tempted to go back to being poor. This is way better. My life is rich because I chose to cultivate riches in my life and my heart.
Right.
And this is way better than having cultivated poverty or not cultivating riches.
Right. And, you might think, well, Jeff, that's not really, who's addicted to poverty, but... there are people that do perpetuate poverty because they get something for it. Maybe it's sympathy or feeling like a victim. And it's everyone. It's the man behind the curtain or
blame.
The big guy is probably, he's the one to blame. All these rich corporations.
Disempowerment and anger and all the things that you get. Entitlement.
Being right.
Uh-huh.
Justifying it.
Right. Poor friends who agree with you. Get to be lazy. All these things. Get to avoid your life of your dreams. You get to make excuses. All this stuff that comes with poverty that you've got to let go if you want to rise up beyond poverty. And Son of God, you are worthy of riches unspeakable.
Yes, be addicted to the good, to God.
You are our equal in God's love. And God's love is all that matters. You are our equal. And you can say, my God, they are blessed and they are loved by God. God favors them. And we would agree with you.
Because we put God first above all things.
And we invite you to see through our story and our lives and us what you really are. And that's why we show off our riches and our righteousness and our spiritual power and our love and our success and God's adoration for us. Not so you can feel less than us, but so you can see, brother in God, that you are our equal in his love. And you will manifest things for you that are far more valuable to you than things we have manifested for ourselves. But these things are uniquely valuable to us in his love. And there are things that are uniquely valuable to you. God's love is complete, and it is abundant and rich. And he loves you completely. He doesn't give you less and me more. You don't have to belittle what I have in order for you to have what is your birthright. And what God has given me is in no way in competition with what he is to give to you.
No, because you too are created to be glorified, and that glory is God's. We just don't deny ours.
And we invite you to accept
yours. And we invite you to accept yours.
And see yourselves as our equal in his love.
Because are you not?
Very good. So remember that you have the power to overcome your addiction and take that journey. You have the power to heal, and you can ask God, and he will show you the way.
Yes, he'll always show you the way. All you have to do is have a willing heart. That's it. Just a willing heart. He says in the you know, in the Bible, you just need a mustard seed of faith. You don't need a mountain of faith. Just a little bit of faith, and it'll carry you through. That's enough to put God to, you know, throw you over his shoulders and carry you home. Just a mustard seed of faith.
So, and the way is always there for you. It's just a
Yeah.
decision. You don't need to know the whole path of healing your addiction, just the next step. And take that step in faith.
Right.
And the next step, once you know you've achieved, the next step will come, and the next step. And know that the thing you get from your addiction, you're going to get more, and in a healthy way, without having to pay negatively for what you really need. If you need comfort that your addiction gives you, there's better comfort that God can offer you.
Yeah, always.
So thank you so much for joining us. Let us conclude with our closing prayer.
Very good.
Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and I will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them, and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. Thank you for joining us. Let us conclude with our alms.
Very good. Please join us either out loud or mentally. Taking a nice deep breath in. Om Shanti Shanti, peace, 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 peace in our hearts, peace in our mind, peace in the world, and so it is. Blessed be, and namaste. We will see you all next week.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for attending the Church of Union service today. I hope you enjoyed that sermon. And as Jeff mentioned, the mind alignment process, we are here to support you. We are here to help you. And if you want to talk and just see if it's the right fit for you, I invite you over to mindalignmentprocess.org. And all you have to do is click on Let's Talk. And somebody from my staff will be in touch with you, and it's completely free to get started and talk to somebody about whatever it is that you're going through. And remember, whatever that is, please have compassion for yourself as you continue to move through it.
Yeah, and we invite you to visit unionism.org for all past sermons, music, meditations, and card readings. There, you can also donate to or tithe or to contribute to the Church of Union's message to the world. So please like and subscribe to the Church of Union YouTube channel, and also come join us after the sermon for after church tea time. It's a live discussion about today's message in the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Facebook group. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And have a great day.
Love you. Bye, COU.